So today I'll be taking an in-depth look at this, the Amazfit GTR. I'll be testing it out and giving you my overall thoughts of whether or not this is something you should buy. Welcome back to another episode of Stu's Reviews. Before we dive in, I've set myself a goal of hitting 30,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you find this video of any help at all, don't be afraid to help me out in return by hitting that subscribe button. And then, if you want, hit that notification bell, because you'll be the first to be notified when my Amazfit GTS review drops, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But still no sign of it in the post. Anyway, moving on to this, the GTR. Let's take a look at some specs. This is it. I've been waiting for a very long time for a smartwatch from Amazfit that has a classic timepiece style. It's actually a really simple design, featuring only two buttons on the side that perform a variety of different functions. It comes in a variety of different styles and sizes. This particular model is the stainless steel 47mm one, but don't let its simple design fool you. It's packed to the brim with technology, featuring Huami's signature BioTracker system for a constant 24-hour heart rate monitoring, an accelerometer, a geomagnetic sensor, an air pressure sensor, GPS, Bluetooth 5.0, and a fully round OLED display. And all of this is waterproofed to a submergible depth of 50 meters. With its appearance and level of technology built into it, they really haven't skimped out on making this a premium smartwatch. It even has a microcrystalline zirconium ceramic bezel, possibly a little bit unnecessary, but you won't find me complaining about it, because it just adds to the fact that this watch is simply stunning to look at. And whether or not you're wearing a suit for a swanky dinner party or casual clothes down the pub, this thing is without a doubt going to draw people's attention. This is one incredible looking device. Honestly, this has to be one of the nicest smartwatches I've currently tested. It's actually a relatively thin device. I mean, hold on, how much does it measure? I mean, this is only 13mm. That is very, very small. Now, the Stratos is their old flagship smart, inverted commas, when I say smart I mean good looking watch, and this was 15mm. That's quite a big difference. It's a big chunky device, and actually the technology inside this is quite archaic compared to this, which has a full-on OLED screen. So the fact they've slimmed it down and given it a better screen is something quite remarkable. Now, this isn't the only option of the Amazfit GTR that you can buy. There's actually quite a lot of different sort of style options. They've got the standard aluminium ones, or aluminum, depending on where you are in the world. They've also got these ones, which are stainless steel, and they do different colours in each. And they also have two different sizes as well. This is the 47mm, but they also do a 42mm, I think, so it's quite a lot smaller. I've got relatively big wrists, but to be honest, it's just a style preference. Some of you might prefer smaller watches, some of you might prefer larger watches. There's no right or wrong answer with that one. But they do differing styles in the watches themselves. So the smaller one, you can get slightly more feminine options, such as a gold one with sort of diamante white stuff around the outside, which I think looks horrible, but actually I quite like the look of the gold. Now, interestingly, when they announced this, they also showed a gold version, which was known as the Iron Man Special Edition, which, okay, fine, the red strap is absolutely disgusting, but I really, really like the gold stainless steel. That seems to have disappeared completely. I cannot find a single place to buy it that looks even slightly legitimate. I'll probably get some anthrax through the post or something worse, I don't know. If you can find this for me, I will give you a kiss. No, I'll give you some cake. I'll give you a cake. I will give you a cake, I mean it. I will give you a cake if you can find me one with the gold on it, that is the 47mm Iron Man edition. And if you do manage to find it, link me in the comments below and I will send you a cake. I mean it. Anyway, there is one thing I didn't like about the appearance of this watch. Now, I want to put a disclaimer here. Everything I've been showing you so far has been the watch, except the strap. This strap did not come with the watch. This strap came with the watch. And it has to be one of the most horrible straps I've ever used, ever. I think it's supposed to be leather. It looks like leather, but it feels like plastic. And then on the bottom, they've got this horrible, sweaty rubber that just makes your wrist sweat to kingdom come. So overall, this strap is useless, but it's actually quite straightforward to change. On the surface, this band that it comes with looks okay, but actually you can see it's slightly shiny. Basically that horrible kind of PVC, nasty leather. I don't know. If it is real leather, they've not done a very good job with it because it looks horrible. And there's the rubber on the inside that feels horrible as well. However, the straps that do come with it are quick release, and you've got this little lever on the inside that you simply use to pull the little bars in, and it fits directly then onto this section. Now, to get these straps off, dead easy. To put the new straps on, you need a watch tool, because this strap that I've chosen doesn't have a quick release on it, which was a bit annoying, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because this is the type of strap that I'll want to wear at all times. Simple as that. You can get rid of this absolutely disgusting strap and put on something slightly better. I'll link below, if you like this strap, to where you can get hold of it. But this is a proper leather strap. Feels beautiful, smells beautiful, and looks a hell of a lot better. Enough about the locks. Let's talk about the functionality. Now, there's one particular piece of functionality of this device that I want to talk about straight away, and that is battery life. Now, I've been using this for just over a week. Let's have a look at how much battery life is left. Currently, my battery, as you can see, is at 72%. And I've used it for 9 days. It's insane. Supposedly, this can last for 72 days in total, or at least that's what Amazfit have said, if you turn off some of the features like automatic heart rate sensing every single minute, and you don't use the GPS very much at all. If you don't use those functions, then this can last you 72 days, which is insane for a smartwatch. You'll need to charge this up maybe 5 times a year. I cannot believe it. Moving on from the battery life, let's take a closer look at the interface of the GTR. Starting off with the watch face, the first thing we can do is swipe down. This accesses some of the simpler settings. Now if I swipe back up, that disappears. Swiping up again, I get access to some of the apps that this thing can do, and there's actually quite a lot. Now the thing I would say is that the screen looks beautiful. It is such a nice looking screen, and obviously on the camera it's hard to show that, but it really is lovely. Now the basic sort of functionality are notifications, music control, you've got different workouts, your current status of your existing workout in your day, heart rate, your activities, your weather, alarm, events, more. What does more do? More doesn't do very much. It just gives you a compass, timer, countdown, and find mobile. Now swiping left will get you back to the home screen. But let's dive into these a little bit further. Now, the notification element's quite nice because I can scroll down and see my different notifications. Now, let's have a look at, for example, these here. Now, this is from a friend, and you can see it's got the message icon there. But this one here is from an app with an app icon. Now that's a bit annoying. It's annoying how the app doesn't actually show up in the notifications or on the watch. Now, the Amazfit Verge did show a lot more apps than this does. This seems to miss off a lot of the icons. Why that is, I don't know. I hope they eventually change that, but it's a bit annoying. Now, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit laggy. Not loads, but it is quite noticeable. Again, this is early software, so I'm hoping that eventually they change that, because it just is a little bit annoying. But overall, it functions quite nicely if it is a little bit laggy. Now, the music control is quite nice. Going into here, it will obtain the song name from my phone that it's currently playing, and then I can press play or pause, which is quite nice. The workout section is lovely. This is possibly the most comprehensive workout selection that an Amazfit device has ever had. So you've got things like outdoor running, walking, outdoor cycling, treadmill, indoor cycling. Now, this is a big one that some of Amazfit's products don't actually have. You've even got swimming, because this is waterproof as well. But overall, the selection on here is fantastic. Now, these two buttons on the side do a number of different things. First of all, this one is on and off, so you can use that. And this one is actually programmable, so I can press this now and it'll take me to notifications. But actually, there's a few different things that this can do. I've just chosen that because it was an easier way rather than swiping up and pressing on notifications. You can see it's a bit finicky, but it was much easier to just press that button there and you're good to go. So that is the interface. As I always say, a smartwatch or fitness tracker is only as good as the app it's paired to. Now, what's interesting about Amazfit devices, a couple of them actually pair with the Mi Fit app, which you'll find on the Mi Band 4, the Mi Band 3, and a couple of other Xiaomi products. Whereas some of them pair with the Amazfit app. This particular one goes straight to the Amazfit app, which I have looked at before in a few of my reviews, such as the Amazfit Verge and the Amazfit Stratos. But let's take a very quick look at that again, just to recap and go over for those that might not have seen it before. First thing we're met with is a pretty boring overview. It's plain, white background, quite simplistic. Some people might like that. Myself, not so much. I prefer something a bit more colourful and a bit more interactive. This is just very much statistical. If I go into one of these, for example, my heart rate, I can see today's heart rate. I can swipe right to get yesterday's heart rate, the day before, the day before that, the day before that, the day before that. So it's actually quite a straightforward thing to use. Now, I can also tap on the steps as well at the top, and this just shows me my steps for the day. So again, I can swipe left to get access to all that information. And also what I can do is I can tap history at the very, very bottom, and it'll actually give me a kind of bar chart since I started reviewing the watch. And it shows me every single day's worth of steps, which is quite nice, to be honest. As well, if I go back to the home screen, I can see my activities. Now, the activities are the ones I showed you earlier, which you can specifically start monitoring. This will help you with things like your workout and trying to achieve a better time for a particular circuit, so on and so on. But if you tap on this, you can see the GPS route that you took of the particular walk, run, cycle, whatever you did. I've come for a walk to test out the tracking capabilities of the GTR, and of course it's Wales, so it's raining. And you can go down and see loads and loads of information, such as your heart rate, your altitude, loads and loads of information on that particular exercise. Now, if we look at the sleep data, I'll explain in a few minutes why there isn't much information in here, but let's go right the way back to there, the 17th of October. This is quite cool. I like this. It does give you a sleep score. It shows you how long you've slept for, and it shows you how much light sleep and how much deep sleep you've had. As you can see, I woke up at 1:34, and there is a very good reason for this. The reason for that is that although this can record your sleep, I don't think it's a very practical thing to do so, because it's huge. I woke up about 1-2 in the morning with my hand shriveled and purple because this was cutting off all the circulation to my wrist. So, is this a practical watch for sleep tracking? I don't think so. Some of you might manage out there with such a big device on your wrist at night. I prefer something like a Mi Band 4 if I'm going to track my sleep. But as far as it goes, it's pretty good. It does track your sleep, and it does give you some vital information on how to improve your sleep. If you can put up with the fact that it's big, then yes, it does a good job. Before we move on to talk about the price and conclusion, I want to give you guys a tip, especially for those that might already have the GTR or those who are thinking about getting it. You can actually install custom watch faces you've downloaded from the internet, and here is how you do it. So this process is for iPhone, but actually this process can also be transferred across to Android in pretty much exactly the same way. The only difference is the app that you'd use. I think on Android it's called Amazfit and Tools. On this one it's called Amaze Tools. The first thing you'll need is the AmazfitWatchfaces.com website, or alternatively their app. In this case, I'm going to use the app. Now, I'm going to go in there and find a face that I like. Now, I prefer the faces with the true black background, and that is because it shows off the OLED display even better. So, for example, I'm going to choose this face here. I'm going to hit the sort of button here on the right-hand side to download it to my device. Now, first of all, I'm going to save it to my files. I'm going to save it into my GTR Watch Faces folder. Now, once that's done, I can go into the Amaze Tools app, click on the More in the bottom right hand corner, and then Install Custom File, and choose the plain black face that I've just done. It'll give me a warning that it will take a little bit of time to install. If I press Install, you'll see on the watch now, it's starting to download. So all you do is wait for it to finish, and eventually it will display the new face on the watch, and you're good to go. Now, the price. If you compare this to a similar sort of smartwatch with a similar sort of appearance, you know, an OLED display with a stainless steel body, you're looking at something maybe like the Apple Watch, which will cost about £600 to £700. This costs just £130, which is about $150. As usual, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find it yourselves. Before I go on to my final thoughts of the Amazfit GTR, I just want to say a massive shout out to all my current subscribers. You guys are incredible, and a huge thank you to all my current patrons, because without you, Stu's Reviews wouldn't be Stu's Reviews. And if you want to become a patron, again, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check that out yourselves, but there's loads of rewards and it helps me out in return. So what do I think of the Amazfit GTR overall? Well, if you couldn't tell, I absolutely love this thing. It is one of the nicest looking smartwatches I've ever used. It's got that beautiful round display. The battery life is insane. Yes, the strap is horrible that comes with it, but the fact that you can put your own straps on with ease is brilliant. There's loads of customization. It just is a fantastic smartwatch. Yes, okay, fine. There are some things that might be not quite as polished as some of the other Amazfit devices, like the app logo's not always showing up, the interface being ever so slightly laggy, but these are things that Amazfit could improve on, and I don't care about them. My overall experience has been 100% positive. I've loved every second of it, and I will tell you this right now. This is staying on my wrist until I find a better smartwatch. This has to be my favourite smartwatch of 2019. That's quite a bold thing to say, but it really, really is. It is just superb value for money. And if you like smartwatches, or you like watches, and you like me, you switch it out pretty much every other week, this is one to add to the collection. But I can tell you this, I don't think I'll be switching this out very much at all. And that concludes today's review. If you liked today's video, hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget to press that notification bell, because like I said earlier, you'll find out when the Amazfit GTS review drops straight away, which hopefully will be soon, providing the postman can bring it to me. Other than that, I'll see you back for another episode of Stu's Reviews soon. Before you go, consider supporting me on my Patreon page by clicking here. It'll give you some great discounts on stuff I've reviewed and helps me to continue doing reviews. If you want to see some fun stuff, click here to see the highlights of Stu's Reviews. And as a friendly reminder, click this button to subscribe.